Welcome to The Creative Influencer, where we discuss all things creative with an emphasis on influencers. The Creative Influencer is hosted by John Pfeiffer. John is an entertainment attorney in Santa Monica, California, who represents influencers and other creatives.
This is episode 2 of the third season of the Creative Influencer podcast. Today we interview Asia Dang. Asia is a, quote, social media person, close quote, which is to say she does not see herself as a traditional influencer and defies traditional categories of YouTubers. Nevertheless, she's built a sizable following on YouTube and other platforms and is the co-host of the podcast Heavy Topics with Lightweights. It's really a great listen. Asia shares her journey from marketing and journalism to lifestyle, again, social media person, close quote, with lots of humor and fun, with insight along the way. This was a great interview. Enjoy. I'm joined today by Asia Dang. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
You, quote, work in social media, correct?
Ooh, yes.
And you also have a podcast.
Yes.
Called
Heavy Topics with Lightweights.
And you do it with a partner.
I do it with my best friend, Laura.
And you do it, we are recording this at about 11:10, so we don't have wine. But you have wine.
Bummer.
You have wine on your podcast.
Yes, we do.
How did you come up with that idea?
I don't know. I think my girlfriend and I have always wanted to do something together because we work really well together. We went to grad school at USC, and we started off with this environmentally friendly blog called Ecoistas, and it was absolutely terrible.
Which I could not find.
Good. That's the point. We took it off. We saw it for Instagram, which is hilarious, but it just didn't work. So we stopped that. But we've always wanted to do something, and I told her I was, I'm 32, and I wanted to do something more. I wanted to kind of leave my mark on society and try to make it better. And we decided on, testing out a podcast. We're kind of late to the game, but we just started it. And we just wanted to talk to people who we never would come across or just have conversations about their life.
So from the start of the idea of the podcast till it actually dropped on July 3rd, how long did it take?
A year.
And then you did a countdown video, 31 days to launch.
Yes.
Which was kind of fun to watch.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, especially having gone through the process.
The quality wasn't, I exported it wrong. But yeah, I'm glad you found it entertaining.
Was it your idea or Laura's idea?
The idea of the name was mine. But together we kind of grew what it is today.
Here are a couple things I've gleaned so far.
Okay.
Life is better in your 30s than in your 20s.
Absolutely.
Which we'll come back to.
Okay.
And some of the guests you had a Tantra sex couple.
Yes. That's one of our, I guess, most streamed episodes, actually, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. And then you had, and I may be pronouncing this wrong, but somebody who practices Reiki.
Reiki, correct. Yep.
Which is vibration therapy.
It's, energy healing.
Did you ever have your Reiki done?
I haven't. I still want to do it. And I was kind of nervous about it because I don't know. I guess I kind of misunderstood what it was. But having her Frances tell us what it's all about, I still really want to do it.
After listening to it, it seemed a lot less woo-woo.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I mean, if
that's
tarot
what I kept on saying. Woo, yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you interviewed a sex worker.
Yes.
Which was fascinating.
Yes. That was actually the very first person that we knew we wanted to interview because she's Laura's friend.
Did you practice, before you did your first episode, did you do a practice episode?
We had our first episode being just talking about our history as friends, but no, outside of that.
Fair enough. And I'm always curious when I interview somebody who has a podcast, how do you prepare?
Well, we don't. We buy wine, and that's really about it. But we're starting to prepare more because before, I guess the earlier episodes, it was people that we knew. So we didn't necessarily have to prepare, but now we want to talk to people, like literally totally new people. So I think in September, we're actually going to be talking to a Fox News caster, and we obviously have to prepare for that. So just as of right now, nothing, but soon to be, we're going to be a little bit more professional.
Do you listen to the episode before it drops?
I edit. Yeah, I edit the episodes.
So you are the hands-on editor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And after it drops, do you listen to it again?
I do. I listen to it as I edit. I listen to it before I export, and then I listen to it in the car, like when it's live, and then that's it.
And do you have a routine about where you sit versus where Laura sits? And you always sit in the same spot?
It has been. We tend to be on the same side, so when we have a guest, we can like look at them. Yeah. But yeah, I think I tend to sit on the left of her. Actually, thinking about it.
Are you a podcast consumer?
I am. Yeah, I'm new to it. I'm very new to it. But
what's your favorite podcast? Other than yours, of course.
Other than mine, it's Crime Junkies.
I've never heard of that one.
It's a true crime podcast.
Yeah, kind of like My Favorite Murder.
Yes. I really like them.
Okay, let's turn to social media.
Okay.
I've heard you say several times that you hate the term influencer.
Oh, I hate it.
You prefer instead that you work in social media?
When people ask me what I do, I just say I work in social media. And if they want to dive into that more, then I'll explain to them what I do.
Do your parents understand what you do?
No. My mom watches my YouTube videos, and she's like, has a Twitter and I think an Instagram and definitely a Facebook. It's really weird. But my dad has no clue. All he knows is that sometimes he sees my pictures, or sometimes like his coworkers' daughters follow me, but I don't think he truly understands what's happening.
When people ask them what you do, what do they say?
That's a good question. I should actually ask them. I don't know, actually.
This started for you about 4 years ago, the social media stuff?
I dabbled in it, I think, closer to maybe 7 years ago, but it didn't start to become like a job, until recently.
But it wasn't always as smooth sailing as somebody from the outside might see.
No, it never is. Even today, it's still not smooth sailing.
When you first, I heard you actually say this in an interview, that when you first started social, there was a lot of anxiety involved. Just paying your bills.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just started making money off of social media. So I came from like the broadcast television world, and I was kind of like against social media. I thought it was a phase. And then I realized it wasn't. Yeah. And I realized that on YouTube, I would have more freedom than if I was working with, a network television. And that was kind of my draw to it, to start doing more of it. But yeah, I barely made money for years.
And then during this process, you were into visualization.
I was what?
The visualization. I can't even pronounce the word. Watched the Magic DVD version.
Oh, yeah. I used to watch that all the time. I should actually watch it again. I would fall asleep to it because I wanted to like visualize just, I don't know, not living paycheck to paycheck, or just kind of figuring out what my path was. I think that was more so what the magic was for me, was trying to figure out what I was supposed to do in life, because I was really lost for a really long time.
And now you're found.
Ish. We're getting somewhere.
Okay. Now, I told you before we started that I kind of do a deep dive into each guest's social media.
Okay.
There was 3 things that jumped out at me.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, one, good things.
Okay, perfect.
One, you're socially conscious.
Yes.
There were tweets and retweets about animal rights.
Oh, yeah. Twitter's
change.
Become very political for me.
And then there was a tweet that if you want to limit/ban abortion, you do that by increasing access to affordable health care/birth control and increasing wages for women.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You have a merchandise line, correct?
I do, yes.
What's it called?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have a name, because every launch goes to a different organization that I'm passionate about. So my first launch was called Support Your Girls, and proceeds to that went to Planned Parenthood.
Why Planned Parenthood?
I mean, I used to go to Planned Parenthood. Like when I had no money and no health insurance, that's who I would go to just for my yearly checkup. So I think that they're being unfairly demonized. And, women are just, it's not just women. I found women, men, children, all in the office when I was there, and taking away those, access to healthcare to low income families is just, I don't understand the purpose of that. So that's why Planned Parenthood.
Then the second thing I noticed.
Yes.
You have a tweet that says you're unapologetically confident.
Yes. Wow, I need to go through my tweets.
And you have a website where one of the taglines is become an avid fan of yourself. Mm-hmm. And then I love that. Then another tweet, a longer tweet. I know. When you start worrying about what other people think about you, just remember there are people out there who hate Beyonce.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Which leads me into my third area that I found out about. Is you're kind of funny because you said, if you bite Beyonce, do you get her powers?
Yeah. You can tell I'm quite obsessed with her. I've had a couple of videos. And
if you bite her, do you get her powers?
I'll let you know if I'm ever that close to her. I think I'm getting there slowly.
How do you politely ask, can I bite you?
I think what I might do is have to go in for a cheek kiss and then see what happens there.
And then there were a couple of other funny tweets is, kids these days will never know the struggle of yelling across the house to your sibling to let them know their favorite show is back from commercial break.
The struggle, man. The struggle's real. They don't know how blessed they are with the streaming.
Okay. Let's shift your background because to understand the social, you have to understand where you're from, I think. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're from Hawaii? Originally,
yes. Born and raised.
Born and raised. Went to college where?
I went to the University of San Francisco for undergrad, and then I came to USC for grad school.
At UCF, you were a marketing major.
Yes. USF.
USF. Okay. Why did you pick marketing?
Dude, honestly, I honestly think it was because of Samantha Jones from Sex and the City. Even though she was a PR person, I thought that they were the same. So there was really no rhyme or reason for me picking marketing. However, just the last 2 years was when I started doing my public speaking courses on all that stuff. And then I realized that's when I wanted to kind of be on television. So marketing wasn't really what ended up happening, but it ended up, guiding me to a direction.
And I had heard you say that marketing turned out to be not your favorite classes.
Yeah, no. I think my favorite classes were definitely the more presentation heavy classes. So public speaking, or I guess actually marketing, just anything with presentation and group presentations.
Have you always been comfortable in front of a camera?
Yes. Actually, well, I used to be really shy when I was younger. And then I don't know. It's just something happened.
Unshy,
yeah. Something happened and I just really liked it. I mean, still to this day, I get nervous when I'm on camera or, when I have to interview someone, but it's just, someone told me that if you know that this is what you want to do, then just go into walk into the room knowing that this is what you want to do and you'll be fine.
And I've also heard it said that if you're not a little bit nervous, you don't have that right edge.
Okay, yeah, totally. 100%, yeah.
So then, some point in your career in college, you started doing some interviews of indie bands.
Oh, God, yes.
Tell me about that.
That was when I was in San Francisco. It was, I think, maybe my last semester of college. And it was called Yeah Live. And it was, I interviewed indie bands in Berkeley. And it was 100% the weirdest experience I ever had. Not the bands. The bands were really dope. But my producer, I feel like maybe he was homeless. I don't know how he got the job, but
Did you have to be a student to do it?
No, I don't know. I think I found him on Craigslist. Okay. Probably not the safest route to go. But yeah, it gave me a lot of experience. And it gave me the idea of my interviewing style and probably warning signs to avoid with bad producers.
How would you describe your interviewing style?
Your friend.
Just pulling it out of the...
Yeah, I find that when you find kind of commonalities and you talk about those, and people that you want to interview tend to be more open about things that you have questions about.
And then I saw in 2011...
You went really back. You went back in the day.
There still is a YouTube video up.
Still. Oh, God. What is it?
It is, you're a finalist on Hometown Hotties.
Oh, yes.
And then you take everybody to a class at USC.
Yes, that was my Maxim Hometown Hotties. Wow, I cannot believe you found that.
I found it and watched it.
Oh my God. That was pretty good. I edited it myself. So I had this idea in grad school because everyone knew they wanted to work, in news journalism. I was like, that's not really my thing, but sports is cool. So I thought of this sports show. It didn't have a name, but I would essentially interview athletes and they would teach me how to play their sport. And I thought for some reason Maxim Magazine would be the greatest organization to do it. But I didn't know anyone there. So at the time, I don't actually know if they still have the competition, but they had a competition called Hometown Hotties where, your local girl can apply and be in the magazine. I was like, okay, so I'm going to apply. I'm going to make it to the top 10. I'm going to tell people about my idea and I'm going to win and they're going to give me my idea. So I did that. And I didn't win.
Did they give you your idea?
They gave me my idea.
So you won.
I won in my way.
Yeah.
It was funny because I was actually the week the finalists went to Vegas was actually when I had to do my finals week. So I was just outside of shooting and stuff for Maxim, I was just in my hotel room studying and stuff, and they thought that made me kind of boring. But I was like, listen, dude, I don't know what to tell you.
It is what it is.
But yeah, they ended up giving me my show, and that was the YouTube video you saw was just part of the application process.
So what kind of athletes did you interview?
My first interview was with Shaq, which was really cool. He was not about the interview. He wanted to get out of there immediately, but he taught me how to play basketball. Danica Patrick was really cool.
Did you get a ride in a race car?
I rode, no, because what we did was we rode, what are those?
Video game, the simulators.
Yeah, we did one of those. What's his name? Andretti.
Mario
Andretti. I rode in a race car with him.
The two-seater race car.
Yeah, it was, I couldn't walk. I almost peed my pants. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But of course I didn't.
I watched actually, they had an Indy car race on yesterday where they showed some celebrity in the car with Mario. Oh. And he couldn't talk.
Yeah. It was scary, but it was fun. But yeah, it was just any type of athlete across, all various sports. It was really cool.
How long did that last?
It lasted a year. And then Maxim got bought out and they were like, bye.
Then your next gig was?
My next gig was Fox Sports.
How did you like Fox Sports?
I did not like it. Because with Maxim, we had all this freedom. It was a very small group of 3 people, me, cameraman, and 2 producers. And we just vibed with each other. We, all of our ideas we did together. And then when you and we just did anything. We did literally anything we wanted to. And when I went to Fox Sports, not so much. And there were moments where I was actually falling asleep at work because no one would let me do what I wanted. I was they wouldn't let me write anything, any script I wrote. It was too controversial, even though it was online. And that's what they hired me for, to be a little bit more edgy. It's just, that's when I was okay, network is not where I want to be. So what's next?
And next was?
Next was YouTube.
Now I saw that you first joined YouTube September 11th, 2010.
Whoa, okay.
But then your first video that's still up is September of 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take down videos?
Was it no, I didn't. I think I just, September.
It was some early Maxim videos.
Yeah, I think I probably put it up there for the Maxim videos.
And some of the first videos were male-centric. Very
much. I had to appeal to my audience then.
And one of them was how to pick up a woman.
Mm-hmm. I did a lot of those type of videos.
Did anybody ever use those lines on you?
Do you remember the lines? What did I say?
I actually purposely did not watch that one.
I mean, probably it came probably from experience somehow.
Yeah. But then you had staying out of the friend zone.
Yes.
And getting your girl to watch sports.
Yes,
and
that was a fun video.
That's a little bit like getting your boyfriend to watch the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, right? All about balance.
Yeah. Then you did a pivot on your channel. How did that come about?
That came about because I was in my late 20s and didn't want to be the sexy girl anymore. I kind of grew out of that phase and I wanted to do more. I obviously you can't live your life being the sexy girl your whole life. So it's time to make a chance, take a change. No, not anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you pivoted to what?
I pivoted to beauty. My first pivot outside of kind of like the parody videos was a makeup tutorial, a natural, like easy makeup tutorial. And then
But you're not a real glam girl.
Oh, I'm not even wearing any makeup talking to you right now. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not. So that was also the other issue was I pivoted to more female-centric content, but that content wasn't me. So then it was another pivot to doing content that was me. And that's where we are now.
Everybody talks about YouTubers have their category. But you don't really fit in a category.
No.
How would you describe your body of work?
I would say 100% Asia Dang lifestyle. I don't have a category. And I think that was what I was struggling with when I pivoted was everyone was like, you need a category. So I was like, okay, makeup. But then I don't do makeup. So how many, like what else can I do? So that was like a real struggle. I ended up just copying a whole bunch of YouTubers who are popular than me and it just wasn't authentic. So honestly, my channel is just authentically just me.
What you do.
And then what I'm feeling that day. So there's not really too much thought.
You were doing Vlogmas in December 2017. You were feeling
broke. A constant feeling of brokenness.
You had a loan due.
Yes.
And you started talking about that.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So, I've been to private school my whole life, even from kindergarten, and never knew any better. So I had to take out a whole bunch of loans for undergrad and grad school and didn't understand it. And that day I had to pay it.
I've been told USC costs money.
You think? You think? If only my parents had money to bribe people, then maybe it would have been a different story.
Which we'll come back to that. I want to get your take on Olivia Jade.
Okay. Now?
Yeah, let's do it now. Let's do it now.
I don't know anything about her. From what I've read, which, can't really believe everything you read online, she didn't want to be there. So to me, maybe there's like a little spoiledness situation there, but to be so callous about not wanting to go to like one of the best schools in the country and like kind of taking that for granted while there are hundreds of thousands of kids who would love to be in her position is, I think, really unfortunate. I don't know. I just wouldn't want my kid watching that. Yeah,
that'd be my take. So back to
me.
Back to you.
Yeah,
This is about you.
Yeah, right? Hello. It was Vlogmas. So you vlog every day what you do. What I did that day was I had to dog sit to make money and still couldn't pay my loan. So I vlogged about that and told everyone how much I owed in student loans. And then it kind of just catapulted.
Tell me about the comments that you got.
Some were very supportive in the fact that, thank you. No one online is talking about this. Like, I thought I was alone. Thank you for sharing your story. And then there were the comments of, you're an idiot. This is your fault. Why didn't you go to trade school? Why didn't you go into the military? Like, you're a dumb bitch. So it was kind of hard between those things because especially when it comes to money, like no one wants to be made to feel dumb about money. But those comments of encouragement kind of convinced me to do
You should
more.
have gone to trade school.
I know, right? Like, you should have been a plumber. Like, okay, that's not for everyone, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't know how to do that.
I know.
And then now that you kept doing this,
Every month.
Student debt,
Yep.
and you post your budget.
I post my real budget every month. Like my numbers, what I make, what I paid off, what I spent my money on every single month.
How has it been to be that public about where your money goes?
The moment I posted that original video, I immediately got a sense of confidence when it came to money, because just talking about it gives you kind of this control over it than it would if you had ignored it. And then also being public about it makes me more responsible with what I do with my money. And obviously the goal throughout this whole journey on YouTube is to pay off my debt. So just being able to see people comment like, I paid off my credit card because of you, because of your videos. It's like, okay, cool. So let's all finish this journey together.
How much has your spending changed just because you know people are going to know what you spent it on? It's like the athletic trainer that won't eat donuts.
Right. No, I mean, my lifestyle hasn't changed that much. It's just because I just never really spent too much money on anything besides food, which is still a struggle. But now it's just being more conscious of how much money I put towards my debt and getting out of debt and what I'm going to do with my money in the future. So it's just being more cognizant on how much I make and how much to throw to get out of, to become debt free. Yeah.
Now, where do you draw the privacy balance line? Where on the one hand, you're willing to talk about the topic that no one will talk about, which is money.
Yeah.
What about relationships?
I was really open about my relationships back in the day, and then people started asking questions that they didn't really have the right to ask. So while I'm very open about money, sometimes my boyfriends are in my videos, but we definitely try to draw a line to where it doesn't get too personal, because at the end of the day, people don't have the right to ask certain questions about personal experiences. So
is there any other area where you just draw the line?
No. Absolutely not.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go 73 questions a la Vogue on you.
Fun.
So it's going to be real fast.
Okay.
What question do you ask to find out the most about a person?
Oh, you start off with a really tough one. I don't know. No, what do you ask?
Well, see, I was going to throw that question back to you. Then whatever question you ask, I ask, tell me about yourself. And people eventually tell you.
I mean, but how long do you have when you ask that question? Yeah. I think probably it's just like, what are you passionate about?
What question would you most like to know the answer to?
Honestly, I live life just going with the flow. But maybe, how do we as a country work together to make it better? To make it work for the majority of people.
And these questions are all over the place. So we're going to go for this one too.
Those are like two really intense questions.
Favorite food?
Sushi.
Least favorite food?
Anything spicy.
Favorite cocktail?
Anything. No, so wine, we do red, and my dad's is a whiskey drinker, so we drink whiskey too.
Favorite whiskey?
Some kind of like Japanese whiskey.
Do you collect anything?
No. I'm a minimalist. I don't like a lot of crap in my house.
If you had 30 minutes a day to do anything you wanted, what would you do?
Probably walk my dogs.
What TV channel doesn't exist that should?
How about like a super non-biased news source? I don't know how anyone would get any money from that, but that would be awesome.
It should. Favorite movie?
Ooh, For a Good Time Call is one. The Holiday and The Last Holiday.
If you could star in a movie, who would you choose as your co-star?
Who would I choose?
And it makes you realize that These Vogue questions, they had them in advance for a long time.
Oh my God, yes. Who would I choose? Sorry, this isn't going as fast.
No,
I would choose...
It's not designed to go that fast.
Rachel McAdams.
Why?
Because my boyfriend likes her.
Okay. What's your guilty pleasure?
Reality television. Oh my God. The Bachelor. I can't stand it, but I can't stop watching. It's so stupid.
Someone was talking about that The Bachelor is every woman hates men that date multiple women. Mm-hmm. But they watch The Bachelor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Hey, at least they're open about it.
Yeah.
They're open and honest.
What's the one talent you wish you had?
I wish I could play an instrument.
And yet there's a guitar hanging on the wall.
That ain't mine. Actually, I wish I could speak multiple languages. I take back the instrument. I want to speak multiple languages.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
People who are late.
What piece of entertainment, if you could erase it from your mind, would you want to do that so you could experience it again for the first time?
Oh, probably watching Avengers, the last two, again.
If you could make one rule that everyone had to follow, what would it be?
Adopt animals.
And you've adopted animals?
I've adopted two, and we fostered.
Tell me something that's true that almost nobody agrees with you on.
What do you mean? I'm always right. What are you talking about?
Okay, so I'm going to shift gears a second.
Okay.
I want to know about your job. Do you have an editorial calendar?
No, I've tried to do an editorial calendar, but honestly, like I said, I kind of just go with the flow. So there's a lot of video ideas I have on my list that still haven't been hit because I just haven't felt the inspiration to do them.
Now that's true for your social. What about for the podcast? How far in advance do you guys talk about guests?
It depends. It depends on how. I mean, we definitely have like kind of people who we want to interview, and then it's kind of just like finding those people. So I emailed someone from the NRA who I still haven't heard back from, but yeah, we're just kind of throwing out a lot of
different
nets.
Topics.
Yeah, right now.
What does a typical workday look like for you?
Well, my typical day, I wake up, I work out, I walk my dogs, I work out, and then I shower. Between 6:30 and 7:30, because I don't set my alarm, so it's just whenever I naturally wake up. And then I shoot in the morning. So I get ready and I shoot, and I try to be done by 2. And then after that, if I have to edit or take pictures or whatever, then I'll do that. So
for your Instagram, do you take your own pictures?
Yeah, I do.
How do you set a timer? Is that how you do it?
I put it on a tripod. I have a remote for my camera, and I shoot it. I wish I had money to hire a photographer, but we got loans to pay, honey. So
school loans.
Yep.
Who was the first person to encourage you to do more YouTube?
My boyfriend, Brian, actually. Yeah.
What's the biggest challenge you face when you're creating content?
That what happens or what I put on YouTube lives up to my idea of what I want in my head, which rarely happens.
What's your favorite video?
Like on YouTube of mine?
Yeah, of yours. Yeah.
I like my parody videos a lot. I think probably my No Rings parody, Ariana Grande video is one of my favorites.
How much longer does it take to do a parody video than a regular video?
It takes months because I write the lyrics, and then I obviously have to come up with the ideas, and it's expensive, so we have to save up money. But to me, it's just like, it's really fun. I don't make money off of those videos because obviously they're copywritten, but it's just for me kind of how I release creativity.
When you post a video, can you predict the success of the video when you're posting it?
Dude, if I could predict any type of success on social media, I'd be a bajillionaire. It's so hard. I mean, sometimes like my budget videos, I know people will watch because that's obviously, something people are invested in myself. But some videos that I think are going to do really well don't. Some that I didn't think were going to do well do. Or sometimes I think for me, because I am like a smaller quote unquote YouTuber that tags really helped me. So I uploaded last year a self-defense video with one of my friends, Hannah Gracie, and it did really poorly off the bat. No one watched it, but now it's almost at 1 million. So you just never know. Like the algorithms, I do not understand it.
Do you have a budget for each video?
Free. For the most part. I mean, there's like my parody videos or kind of bigger production videos. Those take obviously longer to plan. So I have to set aside money for a videographer and stuff. But normally they're obviously $0.
How do you consume content?
Passively. Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. I kind of look through every day. YouTube, I just don't have the time to commit to that.
I have a client that gets up in the morning, turns on YouTube, and it's on all day.
Really? Oh, no.
On a big screen, yeah.
See, I think for me personally, a lot of YouTube content is bullshit, and I just don't align with it. So,
Which, I want to come back to that because you've talked about that before.
Yeah.
The superficiality of some of the content.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think people try to do what they think will make them popular. And that's just not me. And I don't like that.
But how could you predict if something's going to make you popular?
Well, I mean, you can... So you can definitely see kind of the trends that are happening. I mean, so they have the trending page and then people just bite off kind of videos that other people do, and cool, but not my thing.
Do you think that social media empowers women or objectifies women?
I think it's both. I mean, obviously you can find both if you're looking for it.
Right.
But I mean, that's definitely something that I'm very conscious about when I post on social media. Is I want it to be empowering, and I think I do that.
Because if you look, there's a lot of 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds that you wonder what they're going to think in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me in my 20s. I mean, very geared towards men. So what do men like? They like boobs and they like bikinis and lingerie. So that was very much me. But I was just able to kind of pivot before I got old and saggy and didn't have a choice.
It's a 32-year-old old woman.
Yeah.
What's a question you wish people would stop asking you?
When am I going to get married?
I won't ask you that. Who asked you that?
Everyone. Because I think my boyfriend and I are like, we're private, but we're public. Everyone, like, he's a choreographer and he's very big on social media. And we've been dating for 7 years. So it's, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? And for me, it's just like, one, it's none of your business. It'll happen when it happens. But also, I'm not ready. There are things in my life that I want to accomplish before I take that step. And shut up.
Do you want kids? Eventually, someday?
I think eventually. I definitely feel like if I do have kids, I'll be an older mom. Like, I'm not in a rush right now.
And if you do have kids, would you put them in videos?
I don't know. That's a hard one. Because I definitely feel like some of the family vlogs are exploitive of their children. But I think it's just like, I put my dogs in my videos just because.
Yeah, but a dog versus a baby.
I mean, I don't know. I'll let you know when I get there.
You do not like to be called an influencer.
No.
Why?
Because I think that gives people a little bit more power than they have. And especially when I think influencer, I kind of think of like the Jake Pauls of the world. And I do not want to be associated with that.
Do you feel that you do have influence?
Yeah, totally.
So you're an influencer.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I think can we think of a different name?
Social media person.
You're a person.
Yeah.
You're a social media person.
Have you had an I've made it moment?
No, not yet. I think once people stop mispronouncing my name, I'll be like, ooh, I've made it.
Asia.
You can say it, but I have a lot of people saying, like, when they come up to me, they're like, are you Aja, like they don't know. I'm like,
Right.
yes, that's me, but also bummer. Like you can't.
I also found out on Twitter you do not like it when people say "dang."
Oh yeah, it's like so predictable. Can we like do something else? What else can we
something
do?
else up,
Yeah, make something else.
Tell me about the first time somebody recognized you.
Oh, I don't even remember. Like for me, those things aren't really memorable because, I mean, cool. Thanks for coming up to me, but that's not my like end all goal is to be recognized. But everyone's always been very nice.
What advice would you have for somebody that wants to start making YouTube videos?
You're about 15 years too late, but don't let that be discouraged. I mean, I think for me, it's like you have to set yourself apart somehow. And you also can't put pressure on yourself to succeed so quickly. I mean, because I think for me, I have less than 400,000 followers on YouTube, and I've been doing this for years. And you see people who've only been on YouTube for a couple months and they already have 1 million subscribers. So it's easy to kind of feel bad about yourself that you're growing so slowly, but also I look at it as a positive because if I had grown that quickly in my 20s, I probably would be a huge dick right now. So,
And if you're going to build a slower following, it's going to be more authentic because it's
100%.
as opposed to that one-off cat videos.
Yeah, it's definitely more authentic, and you grow a community of people who care about the same things that you care about.
What's the worst piece of social media advice you've received?
Post every day.
How often do you post?
Not every day. I'm like the worst social media influencer ever. I post when I want to.
Is there a regular schedule? I mean, are you
No.
like, okay.
I try to do a regular schedule, but that just put too much pressure on me and gives me anxiety. And for me, social media is when I post something when I have something to say.
Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Just follow the journey. Because I think when I was younger, I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself that I wasn't where I wanted to be or where I thought I would be at a certain age. But we all kind of grow and grow into who we are meant to be at different times. So it would be to just trust the journey. And also people are mean to you because they're jealous of you. So that's also what I would tell my younger self.
Last question.
Uh-oh.
This is a gimme. Where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter if you want to get political. All of that is at Ajadang, Ajadang. And then my podcast is Heavy Topics with Lightweights, just on every streaming platform.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. That was hard.
That's it for this time. If you enjoyed our podcast, please write a review on iTunes and tell your friends to subscribe. If you have any questions about influencers or suggestions for future episodes, email them to John at Pfeiffer@pfeifferlaw.com. Thank you for listening.